The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. That one quote, when taken out of context, probably has caused more financial damage to people who are broke than any scam ever has. So, in this video, I want to talk about the harmful side of the multiple streams of income, especially when we are still broke. In reality, what happens is that they try out several unrelated businesses, they never get good at any, and they waste any profit made on other sinking ventures. It's basically scamming yourself out of your own money. Wealth studies show that many millionaires earn money from multiple sources like salary and business profits and dividends and rental income and interest, capital gains on royalties and things like that. But most of those people still have 1 or 2 big streams that do almost all the heavy lifting, and the rest are basically small supporting roles. When you're starting, you don't see those nuances. All you hear is 7 streams, and your brain translates it into, if I don't have at least 3 or 4 side hustles, then I'm lazy. So you start grabbing anything that looks like a stream. Dropshipping, crypto, YouTube channels, affiliate links that you don't understand, Amazon KDP, etc. And in countries like the US, surveys shows that roughly a third of adults now have a side hustle, especially among Gen Z and millennials. Many of them earn a few hundred to around $1,000 extra per month, but a big chunk of them say that they still need that extra money just to keep up with the bills and essentials, and not really to build wealth. So think about that. People are more diversified than ever, working evenings and weekends, but most of them are not suddenly becoming rich. They are tired and they are slightly less broke. And that's the first problem I have with multiple stream dream. It ignores the simple fact that if your main income is weak, every extra stream is just a bandage. And when I say broke, I don't mean you have a low salary. I mean, you have no emergency fund, you have like lots of debts and obligations hanging over your head, and you're constantly paying catch up on bills and no real breathing room for you to take any risk. People just tell you you need multiple stream of income, and what you need first is one strong, reliable source of income that actually covers your life and leaves a little surplus. Then you need a system for not wasting that surplus on rubbish. Only after that does it make sense to start multiplying the stream. I know it's easier said than done, and you may not even see this right away. And here's the second problem I have. Every new stream costs you something. It costs you time, it costs you attention, energy, and sometimes money. Even the ones that are supposed to be passive are not really passive at first, right? You have to learn, you have to set things up, you have to make mistakes and fix them. If you're already doing a demanding job, then maybe you are trying to build one great skill, and maybe you're supporting a family, then you want to stack 3 or 4 half-baked hustles on top. You don't become diversified, you become distracted. The third problem, fear is disguised as strategy. Sometimes chasing multiple streams is not a strategy, it's anxiety. You don't trust your career, you don't trust your own discipline, you don't trust the country you live in, you don't trust the economy. And many times it's actually justified because we have a bad economy, you have a unstable job market, you can't afford to not have anything to fall back on if you lose your job. So instead of going deep into one thing, you spread yourself thin across 5. It feels safe, but it's actually risky because you have never built enough competence in any one area to make it truly pay. A little this on that, but not enough mastery in any one of them. So I'm not saying that you should only ever have one income source forever. No, it's actually dangerous. In fact, I would strongly encourage you or me to have even more than one income stream. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what many people are trying to do. What I'm saying is the sequence matters. When you're broke or you're just starting, you need one main skill that can command real money. you need one main job, one main business, or one main craft. You need to go from I sort of know this to people are willing to pay me premium for this. In my own case, it was tech. Learning properly, building projects, networking, applying for better roles, negotiating, and even moving to countries that pay more. It makes sense. That one decision to take one skill seriously did more for my finances than any portfolio of streams I tried to manufacture before. It changed the baseline. It turned my main income from something I was consistently trying to escape into something I could actually build on. Only after that did it start to make sense for me to talk about taking risk of trying out other sources of income, which I think I've mentioned a lot in this channel with Forex, crypto. I don't advise anybody to go into that. I'm also trying to build SaaS, which take a lot of time and money, and I'm also trying my hands on content creation. These things actually take a lot of time, of energy and resources. It takes a lot of money to do these things before you get to succeed. So if you're watching this and you're just starting out, this is the part I want you to really sit with. You do not need to manufacture 3 side hustles and income streams. You actually need one clear, boring plan to raise your main earning power. One way of living below your means long enough to build a buffer, and one set of rules for yourself on how you handle extra money when it starts coming. Multiple streams of income are powerful when you already have something strong to multiply. And when you don't have a solid base at first, they can easily become multiple streams of stress. Of course, this is not a rule either. There are exceptions. Some people's side hustle became their main thing, and some people really do turn small gigs into like life-changing businesses. But if you study their stories clearly, you'll notice something. At some point, they stopped treating it as one of the many hustles, and they started treating it like it's the main focus. So what do you do if you're currently that person with about 10 tabs open in your brain? The first thing is to be honest about your stage. Are you truly in a position where diversification makes sense? Or are you still at the I don't have a stable foundation stage? Secondly, you need to pick something to deprioritize. It might mean you need to pause content creation for a season just to focus on something else, which is maybe your main career, to get it to a point where it pays you a lot of money. Third is that you decide what your one thing is for the next 2 or 3 years. So what is that one skill or one thing that you want to do, or one business you're willing to be bad at, to learn from, and slowly become excellent at? And the fourth is you need to make a rule for yourself. No new income stream until this one actually works. For you, works may mean it can cover your basic expenses, it allows you to save, it gives you some, breathing room. Once you hit that, then yes, you can start thinking about adding things like investment, side projects, maybe a second geography, if relocation makes sense. And here's the last thing I'll say. The quote about millionaires with their 7 streams of income is not bad. The problem is how people at the beginning interpret it. You are trying to copy the structure of someone's end game with the resources and the stability of your starting point. When you see someone with 7 streams, what you're really looking at is 10 to 20 years of focus, compounding and reinvesting. They built one thing that worked, then they used extra from that one thing to buy and build the next thing. So you don't see those boring years where they had only 1 or 2 things. At the end, you need to focus on one income engine, you protect it, you grow it, and you use it to build a safety net. Then when you finally start adding extra streams, they will be real, not just aesthetics. If you're interested in more honest, no hype conversations like this about money, about career, tech, and all the mistakes in between, please subscribe to this channel, leave a like, and share with that friend who is always chasing 5 hustles at the same time. Someone like me. And in the comment section, you tell me how many streams of income do you actually have, and how many of them are actually moving the needle for you. I'll see you in my next video.